Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and my craft table. If you're new here, my name is Jen and I'm so glad to meet you. So today I want to walk you through making a full-size planner with my Mini Cinch. Now, previously on the channel, I showed how to make a very small top-bound, I guess a little notebook is what you could call it. Such a fun little project. And I will link that here in the top corner for you so you can watch that if you haven't already seen it. But today I'm actually working on a planner for next year for school. So I thought I'd bring you along because this is a full-size version using the Mini Cinch still without having to buy the bigger machine. So the things that I have for this project are the Mini Cinch and one of the binding coils, and I chose this copper one. I do have some micro dot permanent tape runner, wire cutters, and then I have the fun stuff. So I recently made one of my teacher besties. I made her a planner and she loves Harry Potter, which I do too. So anyway, I made her a Harry Potter planner for her new school that she's moving to at the end of this school year. As a thank you, she bought me a pack of the paper as well. So I'm going to be making one for myself. But basically this is from Echo Park and it's just a little pack. It is 12 by 12. There are 12 sheets. You can see the different designs. They're super fun. And of course they do have the Harry Potter colors. And I know not everybody is a Harry Potter fan. You can totally do this project with something that really suits your fancy. The other thing that I thought was cool is in addition to all of the 12 by 12 sheet, it does come with an entire sheet of stickers. So this is super fun. I'm really liking this. And I know that I'm going to get a lot of use out of these stickers. So let me tell you what I've done to get this planner ready to go so that we won't be here all day. What I did is I printed on my printer at home. This is the back actually. Isn't that funny? At the end of the year, mischief managed. I basically created myself a planner. So I have some notes pages here in the back. I have information for IEPs. So for non-teachers, that is an individual education plan. And then I have some weekly, kind of like just like a week at a glance type page. And then I have the monthly spreads. So we have trimesters. So I have 3 sections where I have a double spread for the calendar. And this is the entire trimester. Throughout the planner, I have really cool graphics from little Harry Potter graphics. So then I've got a doodle page at the front of that section. And then what will happen is that I'll have a divider in between the sections, and I'll explain those in just a second. And then at the very front, I have kind of like a year at a glance calendar of all of my algebra standards, and then all of my geometry standards, some checklists for back to school and end of year to-dos, some more notes pages, and then our district calendar is on the front. So I'll be using the Mini Cinch to poke holes in these, just like a regular hole puncher in a way. Let me show you what I did about the front and back cover, as well as the pages that I'm using as dividers in my planner book. So in between my trimesters, etc. Okay, so this in particular is my front cover. It's one 12 by 12 sheet. This is another 12 by 12 sheet, and it's just books like from a library. These have been taped together using my micro dot permanent tape runner, and then I laminated it with my Q Fun laminator. So I'm going to show you how I did that in just a moment. But this is the front cover, and then I have a red and yellow page for Gryffindor, and on the back of that I have Hedwig the owl. So next we have Ravenclaw, and then I have little letters on this side. And again, all of these pages that I'm showing you right now, it's 2 different sheets of the 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, and I just taped them together. And the reason why I did that is so that they would be thick and sturdy, much like a divider. And then we have the Hufflepuff, and back here I have a little wizard newspaper, and then we have the Slytherin color. Now this one, I definitely did not put the right side down facing up. This is the side that I wanted to be face down, but that's okay. So on the other side of this was like a black background and a bunch of candles. It was super cool. And then I realized after I laminated it that I had it going the wrong way. These are all of my pages. And then this is going to be the back. Okay, so I'm doing a little bit with you, but I've done a lot of prep work as well. Okay, so this is going to be the back cover, but on the inside of the back cover is going to be this print here. So again, I just took 2 of the 12 by 12 sheets and I taped them together using the dot runner. I'm going to place them into the laminating pocket, just like this. I'm putting them pretty close to the edge where it'll still catch, it'll still adhere closed, but more of the overhang is going to be along one side and along the bottom, and then I'll trim that down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my laminator. If you haven't seen, I did a little video on this and I've actually already done another craft with it. This has really been a game changer in my craft room. So pretty, I love it. It's got some little surprises in here, okay, and I haven't taken them out of this one, but lots of little fun surprises in there. I'm going to turn it on. It actually turns on pretty quickly, and I'm going to go to mode switch. So this will be the 3mm, and when this is done blinking, that means it'll be ready to go, and it goes really, really fast. So that's another thing that I really like about this laminator is that it goes quick, and you can do a 5mm, and that pertains to the thickness of what you're laminating. So I just have the little 3mm pouches, and I've got 2 little sheets of paper in there, and I'm going to just make sure it's lined up the way I want. Okay, so the light is solid green, and I'm going to take my laminating pouch, and the side that is open is the side that goes toward me, and the side that is closed is going to go in first. And I'm just going to push that in gently until it starts to grab, and I'm going to let it go through. Now I'm not going to speed this up. I'm going to show you how quick this actually is, and it goes by super fast. If you haven't introduced a laminator to your craft room, it is something to consider. It has actually been very, very helpful with plenty of crafts that I have been making lately. So something to consider. All right, I'm going to pull that out, and then this is all laminated, and you can see the edge here where it's almost like a little space. So I am going to be trimming this down, but I'm going to make sure that I don't go into this space. So one thing that I was doing earlier is I was cutting it down, and then I was running it again through the laminator. I'm going to grab my trim and scoreboard. I'm going to look really carefully for that kind of, it's almost like a seam. I'm going to make sure that I'm not cutting into that little seam. I'm going to go ahead and trim off that edge, and same on this side. All right, I'm going to set this back down, and we're going to run this one more time through the laminator just to make sure that all of the edges are indeed sealed tight. I'm going to set this off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on and off to the side, because what I did with the last planner is after I put all of the little cinch holes, then I reran it back again through the laminator one more time, and it just really helped to flatten and kind of seal up some of the edges where the holes were on the page. Okay, so here's the mini cinch, and I'm going to take this little green, it's like a little guide, and I'm going to put it right here where this says A. So it lines up with A and a 3. So you can kind of see that right here. And this is where this is like your starting guide. So it basically gets you started on your page, and then there's a different guide for the different sizes that you might use. So I'm going to put this here on A. I'm going to take all of these, and then one thing I did check is if I hold them and like this, none of them are super tall or super wide compared to the rest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up against the green guide, the little fence. I'm going to push it in all of the way. Okay. And I'm going to punch some holes like that. And then this is what you will see. Did a great job. Now, in order to save time, I'm going to leave this guide, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going in the right direction with my paper. And I'm going to go ahead and do the initial punch for all of the pages. And that way I can put the guide away and not have to keep taking it back out. Okay, so there's all of those. I'm going to take the guide and I'm going to put it right here in the side. And then this is the fun part. And let me see if I can zoom in for you. On your pages, you're going to have the hole or the square that is stopped, and then you have the hole right in front of it. And then here on the cinch, there is a hole that I'm going to line that second one up with, and then this little pin I'm going to push down into that second hole, and it will hold the paper in place while I punch it. And that I will do that as I go all along the edge of the page. So again, I'm going to be taking the second hole right here, and I'm going to place it where it's covering that hole that's in the machine. So just like this. And then I'll double check. And then I'm going to just push the pen down. And then I'm going to pull the arm down. Release the pen. Slide this down. Again with the second hole. Slide it in. Line it up with the hole in the bottom of the machine. Close the pen down. And then one more. Release the pen. And we're going to do it one last time. So we're going to line it up, put the pen down, and then there. Release the pen, and then here we go. This is where the top hole is, and this is where the bottom hole is, right down here. Okay, so I did a great job. And then you can tell that we hole punched laminate. So this is what I mean by I'm going to take this and just here off screen, I'm going to just stick it through the laminator as I go. So I'm going to go ahead, put on some music for you, and I will get the rest of these punched out and laminated, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I have all of my pages that are going to be the dividers, front and back cover. They are punched, they are sent back through the laminator, so they are all ready to go. And then I went ahead off camera and I did the same thing with all of the papers that I printed out on my inkjet printer. So this is going to be my planner. Now, something that I need to do before I do anything else, I'm going to put everything in a particular order. When you put this together, okay, and you put it on your cinch, you're going to work from the back to the front. And when I get to the front of my book, I'm going to take the back side of my book, the side that I want to face outward, and I'm going to place it straight down like this, okay, so that this is the inside of my back cover, and this will go on top of everything at the end. So I'm going to set those aside for just a moment. I don't need them right at this time. Since we're going from the back to the front when we put it on the cinch, I'm going to go ahead and get this ready. So that's my first divider, and I'm going to put that there. There is my next divider, and I'll put that there, next, and next. And then this is the back. So it normally would go here like this, but I'm going to reserve this out to the side. And then this is my front. So I'm going to need that last. Okay, so now they are in the correct order. I had skipped a section. Okay, so that's another thing. Double check. Double check the direction of your pages. Double check where you want things. If you're doing sections like me, if you're just doing a front and a back, then you don't have to worry about that. But definitely make sure that you have the order in and the direction in which you want the papers to lay. Okay, so then this is the front, and then this is the inside of the back cover. So the outside of the front, the inside of the back. So the back just folds back like this. bring it into cinch, and then we're going to get this onto the ring. Now, if you make a smaller little book, then that's what these are for, is for you to cut off the excess binding coil after you cinch it. And I'll still end up having to cut off about one little ring, but that's okay. So if you are going to potentially do a full-size planner or a full-size book or whatever, don't go through all of your coils and start cutting them. Just let them be. What you'll see here is you'll see these little piers, like, you know, kind of like piers in the water. They have a little bitty knob on them, and that kind of helps hold the large U side. Okay, so you have a skinny side, and then you have a larger U-shaped side. So a tiny U and a larger U. The larger U goes right back here on these little piers, and then it just kind of hangs there, just like that. And then we're going to very carefully, going to take our pages, make sure they're nice and straight. And I'm going to start here at the bottom, and I'm going to start putting them on the little U-shaped coils. Okay, and then when I come on this side, I'm just going to make sure they're all sitting in there nice and neat. This is trimester 3. Something I did forget to mention is I have blank pages in throughout, whether it's at the beginning or maybe at the end, because that way when I printed, this would be like this in my planner because of where this fell on the printing. So this ended up on a back side and this ended up on a front side. Let me know if you want me to make a video that shows you how to make these pages and put them together. I did mine in Word because I kind of had one ready from last year and I just adjusted it, but you can do it in Canva. That's a very popular option. So if you want me to do a video on actually creating the planner pages themselves, let me know down in the comments. I will be more than happy to do that. So again, I'm just going through, just putting all of the pages. And I've never really counted, but I would guess that each coil can hold about 100 pages, roughly. It also depends on whether or not you use like a craft board and cover it for your front and back. That would be thicker. All right, so we're here at the end. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out so you can see. So I've got all the pages, and they're in these the little U's are sticking up out of the pages, and the big U's are here back on the machine. This is the front of my planner. So I'm going to put that on just like I did all of the other pages. Here is the back. This is the outside of the back, and here's the inside of the back. This is the most important part of putting this together, and I have actually had to take my planners and little books apart because I have forgotten this step. So that's why I'm wanting to make sure I tell you very adamantly to be very careful on this last step. It's not hard, it's just hard for me to remember. So this is the back, the front, and it's face up. Here is the outside of the back. This is what's going to be shown if I were to turn it over on my table. Okay, and I'm going to take the outside of the back and I'm going to flip it over so that it touches the front of the front side. So this is the inside of the back. So now I'm going to pull this off of these little piers. I'm just going to move that here. And then right here, there's a little rubber piece here to hold the coils, and then another one here. And then this is actually the cinch part. So this is what's going to bind it all. So it's kind of fun. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that these big U-shaped coils are flat on that black rubber piece. So I'm going to get this all lined up, and I'm going to start down here on the end. Okay, they're all in there. Very nice. Now, okay, so it does about 7 at a time. And then you just take your handle and you just press. And I like to press and then double check everything. And then I like to press it again. Okay, I don't want to press it too hard all at one time. Okay, so there's that one. You can see how it's bound. Right? So it's different than this. So now I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to keep going down the coils, and then I will check it at the end to see if I need to do any kind of adjusting. And I tend to have 2 left over when I'm doing this big one. Okay, so I'm going to move this off to the side. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to look at it. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the little U shape to be firmly or, neatly kind of in between the larger U shapes. I don't want super big gaps. And if I think that there's any big gaps, like I'm thinking right here, I might want to just press that really, really gently, just right there. If I feel like I don't have enough, or if I have too much of a gap. And then now, this is the back. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna flip it around just like this. So this is the front and there's the back. Here are all of the pages of my planner and they're divided by the sections that I need. So this turned out again amazing. So then I'm gonna take these little wire cutters. On this side, you just have the whole part, but on this side, there are little wire snips. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here. I'm actually gonna open up the back and right here, this little edge right there, I like to snip that off. I don't want to poke myself, so I just grab that and I snip that off. Okay. And then I'm gonna come down here and I need to make sure that this big U part right here that I'm pointing to, I just want to make sure that wherever I snip is going to be covered inside the actual spiral part. So I'm going to come relatively close, about halfway through that little U, and just press, and it comes right off. Now you've got that one, and you've got that one. And then you have this beautiful little ring. You have this beautiful little ring that you can just toss in the trash, but there it is. And just be careful of these pointy ends because you could poke yourself and it would not be pretty. Okay, so then I'm going to close this back up again. And there we go. Now I have my planner for next school year, and I'm super excited about this. The only drawback is that I cannot add pages. I can rip pages out, much like a spiral, but I cannot add pages. So before you do a project like this, I encourage you to make sure that you have all of the things that you want in the planner. But other than that, this is a super quick, easy, cost-effective way to have a custom planner that allows you to show your creativity and your personality all at once. All right, don't forget if you want me to show you how to create these, so calendar section and then some planning pages to go behind it. So if you want me to show you how to do that, let me know down in the comments and I'll be happy to do a little video for that. But otherwise, this project is done. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was fun and informative and that it inspires you to think about creating your own little planner or little notebook. It doesn't have to be a calendar. It could be blank pages. You could even do a craft journal. Just be creative and have your own flair. If you did like this video, make sure you hit that like button, share this with your crafty friends, and if you're new here and not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know when I post new content. So until I see you in the next card or craft, as always, have an amazing day and happy crafting.
Thank you all so much for watching today. I'm so glad that you can join me at my craft table. If you're not already, I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you'll know when new videos arrive. Have a great day, and as always, happy crafting.